Disclaimer. This video is not intended to offend any person. It was made purely for entertainment purposes. And Mr. McDonald.
Gender roles in agriculture are the patterns of masculine and feminine behavior in the practice of agriculture. This is a major problem because of the wage gap between men and women today.
What do you mean you want to be a farmer? You're just a woman.
Because I can.
Who you looking at? I have no money.
No. Broccoli!
Yeah.
This is a chart about the share of workers in agriculture comparing men to women.
Okay, the gender inequality showed up when food supplies improved and women began to take care of their families.
It was believed that women were unable to handle the same amount of workload as men.
Men received status and power depending on how large their farm was. And then women were in charge of household chores and the children, and were only helping on the farm in a small amount.
Do you mind? I'm trying to play the Call of Duty. Hurt.
In the past, women had equal social status as men because they shared labor equally, but inequality started to become more obvious when agriculture became more advanced and women took on the role of taking care of the family.
This is relevant now in agriculture because the world population is increasing and so are the poverty levels all over the world. But if women became less discriminated against in the agricultural world, and became more involved, there would be more food to go around and less poverty.
This chart shows that in sub-Saharan Africa, there is still a large amount of women active in agriculture.
Before technology, women were equal in status as men in agriculture.
There is a gap between roles in agriculture due to women taking on the job of caring for families while men tended the fields. According to a writer named Bosra, gender inequalities in the workforce actually came from unequal work in the agricultural society.
This is due to men being more physically capable of farming than women, even though today things have changed. In agriculture, men usually do the heavy lifting, where the women usually care for families and provide some help. Women today don't have any power in agriculture, but if we want the workforce as a whole to move forward and improve, then we have to let the women in.
Across developing countries, they make up 43% of the agricultural labor force. Women could have larger fields if they had the same productive advantages as the men, which could feed an additional 150 million people. Some cons are that there's a persistent and increasing burden of poverty on women, and unequal access to education, and there's an increased violence on the women.
For pros, there are no actual pros of women not working in agriculture. The Hunger Project is an organization that is working towards ending world hunger everywhere, starting with making women more involved in agriculture in Africa. The organization has a microfinancing program, which is a program that gives poor people in Africa credit so that they can develop micro enterprises and have savings.
By doing this, poverty in some regions in Africa has been reduced by improving people's economic involvement and their standard of living. The microfinancing program also works towards more equality between men and women.
The program gives loans to people to start trade businesses and so that they can improve their own farming techniques so that more crop can be produced.
You can see that in the United States, we have a larger female operator on the coast. This chart shows that a lot of women are starting to do more in agriculture now than back then.
Victoria Adaman, a woman in Ghana, is part of the Hunger Project's microfinancing program. She participates in the program's training workshops all the time, and through the Women's Empowerment Program, has been able to establish her own shop. In the article, she says that the women in her community have been empowered to the point of understanding their rights as women and acting on them. For more information, go to thp.org.